Ooh. Ooh, I can change my look. Ooh, bubbles. Old-fashioned feel. Oh dear. I quite like this look. It's sort of like silk. It's like the olden days, isn't it? I'm not too sure. Thank you. I will. I'm having toast. That is what I'm eating at the moment. Mm. There's some interesting effects. I don't know what. This is obviously for a horror show. Do you know, I've been trying to record. I don't actually know where the camera is. Oh, it's down there. I've been trying to record a video all morning, and they've been cutting the grass outside my flat. So it's just like, no way is it going to happen at all. I think the chat just comes up every now and again. What other options have we got? Hmm. It's fairly basic, I think. Hang on. Just lost me apple pen. We're going to try something a little bit different here. Right. Oh, no. A little bit too high up now. Excuse me while I just adjust things. Right, it's not the best, but it'll do. There you go. That's, I quite like this effect. I feel that I'm in a movie. I'm in a movie star. Hi, Rana Blue. I'm having some toast. It's some brown bread. So when I buy my bread, Tuesday's where shopping arrives. And when I buy my shopping, I freeze my bread. But I find that the crust, the ends of the bread, doesn't freeze. They don't freeze very well. Or if they do, take longer to defrost. So I take them out before I freeze the bread and have them for today's lunch. That's what we're having. And I suppose I have to be careful of product placement as well. Thank you for that like. Whoever did it, thank you very much. I've been on YouTube for quite a while, but never gone live on it like this, ever. I always want to add it to my repertoire of sort of like live streaming, but I can never think of a concept to focus the live streaming on YouTube on. I did think at one point about linking it to the role-playing games I play and sort of like do some live streaming about how I create adventures, but then I'm always worried that people might be watching them who are on in the gaming group, you know, so but I don't know. Or maybe some creation of like organizations or things like that. I think generally a lot of my content on YouTube is the role playing game aspect rather than the gaming. So, for example, I could stream, say, Minecraft on YouTube or one of my games on YouTube, but I just feel that Twitch is that area, you know. I play games on Twitch and there's everything associated with that, but I really like, I wish I was creative like you, Rana Blue, so I could do like crafting or something like that, but unfortunately I'm not. I don't think people, I don't, I think it's a bit weird watching people edit videos on YouTube as well. Plus, I wanted to have some worth, some value. So when people are watching it, they're getting something from it. You know, it's something that they think, as I said, reconnecting there. I'm not too sure what that meant. Maybe it's not doing. So yeah, I'm really trying to think of a concept for yeah, I think more value. I'm really working on value at the moment. It's a bit like, you know, your crafting videos, those have a huge amount of value to them because you could say something like, you know, in the thumbnail, you can say something like, creating this today. And then people would come and watch the video, watch the live stream as you create it. And YouTube's very clever in the sense that, okay, then, if I don't make this video public, then it doesn't count to my watch hours at all. So as you know, there's two elements, four criteria actually to become monetized, and you've got to have two-stage authentication, no copyright hits, and then you must have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 public watch hours. So currently I've just reached 1,000 subscribers, and I've done that over 3.5 years, and so that's all sort of like done, and now my attention, everything else is sorted. I'm just on these watch hours now, and it's in the last 12 months, and I have hang on, let me just bring I just can't, I'm tempted to get my watch time up, but I need to make more videos, yeah, I can see that very, very much so. And I think the other thing is you need to make videos that people watch right the way through, which I think for your crafting videos are really good, because it's sort of like, it naturally, people want to stay right the way to the end because they want to see the final product. They want to see what it's like in the end. But I have to sort of like try to put some hooks in and say things like, and at the end of the video, I'll show you or I'll share with you something like that. But I really would like something that I can do just totally on YouTube. Yeah, I think time is really important as well. And I find it's a bit like the role playing games that we play on Twitch. I export them to YouTube, and then what I do is edit them. So I take out the break, I take out the starting soon and the ending, and so like trim it down. And then the other thing I do, sort of like in the description, is that I put timestamps on it. So people don't have to watch it all, they can jump to the action. And I think that's worked really well. You know, because people, for example, if people know the characters, then they don't need to listen to that bit over and over and over again. Or mm, yeah, and I like that. I like that idea of um, making up a character. I think that's really, really interesting. I'm just looking at what all these little pictures are. Um, and I think they, I think that could be. I really like the idea of sharing. I agree with you 100%. I completely agree with you, and I think one of the things I'm working on, which with my RPG sort of like hat on, is that I'm looking at creating. I've done it in the past, but I've never marketed it very well. Adventure ideas all on one side of on a PDF, and it's just sort of like I need to help my little guy get ready, but will he? Okay, yeah, no worries, no worries, Rana Blue. Have a good time. Thank you for calling in. Yeah, so this idea of one side of paper that provides an adventure idea, or maybe possibly a character idea as well. But I think the thing with live video, and this is the thing that I find difficult. Why would somebody watch something live rather than watching something that's recorded? Now, I know, for example, this video is done live and recorded. It's been recorded, so it'll be available elsewhere. But it's almost like when I'm playing games, that's a very much live experience. It's not something that you would want to watch because we're interacting with the game, we're interacting with the chat, everything is going at the same time. And I can see games being played on YouTube Gaming. I can see that really working, you know, because it's basically the same setup as Twitch, but on YouTube. But like I said before, Twitch is the area for that. And I want YouTube to be something different. Now, at the present moment in time, all YouTube is a wonderful. It's a very good platform to put videos up on, and these videos can be up there and actually be watched, questions and answers. I mean, for example, people can put questions in the comments and I can go back and answer them. And I just wonder if there's. I'm not sure I understand. Sorry, that was my watch because I put my watch up and it. But I'm not too sure what live streaming on YouTube would bring, and I definitely need a concept for it. Really, definitely. And one of the things that that goes through my head a little bit is almost like, okay, then, so I'll do a live stream that I create an adventure with. Okay, and we start off with a starting point and we make the adventure. Now, that might be something we can do and something that's very good. However, um, you might say, right, so don't make that available afterwards. Don't sort of like say, oh, this is available afterwards. Just sort of like keep it to the live stream. But you sort of like cut off a whole amount of audience when you say, oh, this is not going to be available afterwards, because unless you're actually there. And I also think the world is changing a lot, and the audience, I mean, playing games live, people sort of like think, oh, that's when that person will be streaming, or that's when I'll have them on, and that's absolutely fine. But other times there's maybe not that flexibility. So I think things like YouTube videos, podcasting, um, anything that captures something and then makes it available months afterwards. I think anything like that is really, really the way forward. In education, we call it asynchronous learning, in the sense that you don't have to be there at the right time to do it. You can do it at your own pace, your own time, etc. And that really sort of like allows you to um, allows almost like it allows you to widen the participation or the diversity of people who are actually watching you and engaging with you. But I do think YouTube has a lot to offer, and but I can't decide whether or not it's away from videos and what would live streaming on YouTube actually be beneficial for me, rather than just making videos, because they would be available. I must say, one of the nice things I like, and I probably could do it in Premiere Pro, is this sort of like crackly film. I love it. I really do love this effect. There's enough this documentary which gives a bit more sepia. I just like the little hair bits that are coming up over it. I think it looks really good. And I must admit, I literally haven't planned anything at all for this. I've literally picked up the iPad and I've got it on my tripod now, and I'm just sort of like trying it out and seeing how it actually works. Yeah, so I seem to have two areas of my content. Well, there seems to be three areas of my content creation, what I sort of like work towards. So there's this element of being a small streamer, which I use in a very positive way, that is all connected to Twitch. And then I have my small content creator label, and that mainly deals with Instagram and YouTube. And then, but on Instagram, it's a lot more about being a small content creation, productivity, what I use, how I use it, how I keep up to date. Because I just feel that there's a lot of influencers, they're called, who are massive, you know, and they say things like, oh yeah, you should post. I was watching one reel the other day, and an influencer was saying that if they were going to um, try to get found on Instagram or try to get popular on Instagram, what they would do is find a niche and publish 6 things per day. I just thought, you know, that's if you were doing nothing else through all those days, you know, and that was your job, then that's only like one video a day. But I mean, 6 things would be reels, and there should be stories, there should be feed posts, etc., etc. So that's acceptable if you had nothing else to do. But it's sort of like I don't. I have other things to do. I can't do 6 posts every day for a month. You know, that would be like 180 odd pieces of information or pieces of content and you have to get out there. And I think there's a real, I mean, I haven't looked into it, but I think there's a real niche market for, you know, saying to people, okay, then I'm a small content creator, you know, I don't feel that I'll ever be massive, but it's quite okay to be a small content creator, and it's absolutely fine to be a small streamer. That's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with either labeling yourself like that or actually being that. And I know some people would say, you know, oh, the most important thing is that if you're having fun, then that's it, that. And I completely and utterly agree with that. And if I didn't have fun creating content, whether or not it was on Instagram, YouTube, or Twitch, then I wouldn't do it. What I'm looking at is almost like the next step up. You know, I am a small streamer, I am a small content creator, but how can I be the best I can possibly be? And notice the comparison is to me and to my practice rather than me comparing myself to somebody else. You know, and I think that's a really interesting um, idea to sort of like talk about and to share resources about. I couldn't sleep the other night, and I was thinking about all the work that I do to this idea of promoting small content creators or small streamers. And I thought, what would happen if I suddenly became massive? If all of a sudden, you know, I was this, I'm not saying that it will happen, but if I did, I couldn't continue to say, oh, I'm a small content creator, I'm a small streamer. But I think then what you can do is change your niche and start to talk about how you got there, how this transformation happened. But you can't talk about that transformation until it's actually occurred. And I notice a lot of influence sort of like say, if you want to be this big, you must do this, this, and this. And I think that's really good, and it's something they've either researched or they've talked about and they've shared. But generally, you must have done it in order to get to that point. You know, it must be something that you've done. And I think if you haven't, then you don't have any kudos, you don't have any sort of like reliability around you to say this is what you need to do, because it's a bit like I would be saying, yes, I do all these things, but I'm still small, you know, and people want to hear how to get bigger. I've got an interesting reel that I'm working on that says something like, you know, the number of views or the number of listeners is not um, it's not representative of how good the content was or is. That's not a correlation. Just because 50 people have watched it, it doesn't mean that content is any better than one person watching it. it's not on a scale. It's not sort of like, you know, you judge how good you are by how many people are watching, because there's miles better metrics to actually measure it by. And yet again, I know people would say, you know, as long as you're enjoying it, that is fine. But to go right way back to that first point, if I wasn't enjoying it, or I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be here. I would be out doing nature rambling or something like that. And it's the next step from that. I do also think that hi, Vista. How you doing? I can tell you, I just see AVD. I'm just verbalizing thoughts at the moment. So, and I do think there's a nice market for it, but at the same time, I was talking about what makes an Instagram post or a stream or video good about the quality. And it's interesting that if you go to one of my reels on Instagram, and this is when I don't look at views anymore now. I try not to, although it's a nice metric to look at. But it's interesting that there was an Instagram reel that I literally spent less than 10 seconds to create. I think it was like, what age will you get married? And I literally started off and I went like that at the end. And it's got like 847,000 views. 847,000 views. It's huge, you know. And even now, every now and again, I notice that it's gone up a little thousand or whatever. And then I did my favorite one about hot cross buns, or looking at recording reels and, you know, reacting to this huge viewer count. And I think I said at the end, oh, bring me some antibiotics because I'm going viral. And those two videos, the hot cross bun video reel and that reel, I'm going viral with, I actually planned out, I roughly storyboarded them, I recorded them, I put them together on Premiere Pro or Premiere Rush, Adobe Rush, one of the others, put it all together, thought about my transitions. So there's a wonderful bit, I think it's a wonderful bit, that I'm looking at my iPad, I go like that. And as I do it, the sort of like the picture from the iPad comes up to the camera, and it shows you how many people. And when I see something, I look up and my head shakes. And honestly, it took me hours of work to produce that video. And the one that it's like my legs go to sleep. The one, sorry, I'm really low down now. Oh dear, hang on a minute. Let's see. I post on Twitter one or two. I post a bit. Yeah, exactly. And I think, so I'm just trying to get higher up without getting my legs into cramp. Yeah, and I think that's the case. And that's why, yeah, no worries, left hand, Rana Blue. I don't know if I'll be on, but thank you for coming along and supporting this live stream. I really do appreciate it. And I sat for hours thinking, why did more people watch that What Age Will You Get Married? But hardly anybody watched the other one that I spent hours on. And it's not because one was better than the other one. All it is that one attracted more attention at that point. It wasn't the fact that that video was any better or any worse than the other one. It just happened to slide into the right context, the right interaction at any one point. And I think that's something that, you know, people talk about the Instagram or the Twitch or the YouTube algorithm and how it promotes it. And I really do think that if you go down that route of trying to make content that beats the algorithm, I have to draw a line there. I really have to draw a line there. And I don't want to make content that beats the algorithm. I want to make content that I'm proud of. And I think that's really important. It's really important to me. I was obviously, you go onto YouTube and I'm at 3,952 public watch hours. And I need to get up to 4,000. That's what I need. And of course, I went onto YouTube and typed in, how do you get 4,000 watch hours? And do you want to know, I was shocked. I was shocked how many videos are talking about hacks to get there. So, for example, there was one video that said, easy way to do this, sign out to your account, put multiple browsers up and watch all your videos. And I just thought, number one, I was thinking, wow, YouTube has left that up. But at the same time, I'm thinking, I don't want to do that. I really do not want to do that. I want to get there via my content, this thing that I like to produce. And I don't mind sort of like saying things like, oh, and if you come back at the end of the video, I'll give you a really good idea. You know, if that helps people come to the idea. And I've now got a proper script that sort of like tells me what to do here, what to do there, what to do next, and things like that I find really helpful for the creation. So the content is staying the same, but they're just created in a different way, if that makes sense. And I was quite shocked that YouTube is sort of like letting people do it, because otherwise it makes a mockery. One of the things about 1,000 viewers or subscribers, and I've now got 1,000, so please do not unsub now, is that a lot of people say you need to make videos about how to do something, how to so and so, because that's what people want to watch. People want to type into YouTube and see it as a learning base. And they start off, they go in and they sort of like say, let me give you an example. So on Monday on my Instagram, inwils 1159, I tried to start off the week with some kind of interaction. And this week it was like, what would you prefer? An energizing shower in the morning or relaxing bath at night? And it's a picture, you just vote one or the other, you know. Anyway, that happened, and it was really, you know, I like making them because it's all to do with graphics. I'm not a graphic designer, but I use Adobe Creative Cloud Express to do them, and I really like that process, and then thinking of the ideas. And then I had to look on YouTube to how to share it, because I could see it, but I didn't know how to share it. Now, what I actually did was take a screenshot of it and repost it, but I literally typed into YouTube, how do you reshare? And it came up. Saying that, I had a real interesting situation last week. So last week, I export our role-playing games sessions out to YouTube. And then I trim them all off. I put timestamps in them. I write the description and everything like that. Anyway, in the description, I used some NPC names, non-player characters' names. So, like the patron of the job, I used his name. Like Benny McDougall, who is the the group's fixer. And I had this up and I put it in the description. And this is a learning process because I would never have thought about this. Anyway, I put it in the description, did everything, did the thumbnail, changed it all, and published it. And immediately YouTube took it down and locked it. And the reason they locked it was because of spam. It was against the spam policy. And when I looked into it, what had happened was that the name of the NPC that I put in the description, this is what I think happened. The name of the NPC was the name of a real person. And they could see that the video had nothing to do with that person. And because it was nothing to do with that person, it was immediately flagged up like a bit like clickbait, in the sense that I was using the name in the description even though the celebrity didn't appear in the actual video. And so I had to take it down and redo it all and let it up. And I must say, huge thanks to YouTube, because they didn't give me a strike against it, you know, because I now know and I can learn from that, and of course one of the criteria is that you don't have any strikes against you. So anyway, so that was a learning process in itself. But I don't want to go down it might have taken me like over 3 years to get my YouTube channel up to 1,000 subs, but I know I've done it, to quote a famous song, I've done it my way, rather than, you know, I haven't gone through and started to make sort of like videos, how to do 5 tips. You might have noticed that I've started to name things like 5 top tips, and that's really helping, you know. And the other thing is, if there's 5 tips, I think people watch further through the video as well. And I don't think it's anything about working to the algorithm. I think it's just looking at how you create videos to meet the need. I do wonder, you know, did somebody must have sat down at some point and said, okay then, what should we put for watch hours? Shall we put 1,000? No, let's go. 4,000 seems a nice number. And it's interesting that YouTube Shorts do not count towards your watch hour. Now, I've been making a lot of shorts and I really like that idea of shorts, but they don't count towards your public watch hour at all. So it's like all the work that I'm going to be doing on things like becoming a small streamer, really short extracts of things and concise, those will not count to my watch hours. So it's almost like, even though that's quite new and obviously is competing with Instagram, and which of course is Meta, Facebook, and also TikTok, which is another company. You know, YouTube Shorts are trying to get, you know, fill that gap, to try to sort of like widen their reach. And I do like, one of the things that I've done recently is that I used to use 3 programs for my productivity, and I've brought them all down to 1 program, and I'm going to make a video on it because I just hope it helps small content creators get organized and stay organized, etc., etc. But I really like software or platforms when everything is in there and I only need to learn 1. So I love Instagram. I love the way I can do shorts, I can do stories, I can do full-length videos, or 30 seconds, I think it's max, or minute, or pictures, and it's all on 1 platform. Well, TikTok, you can use sort of like short things on TikTok, but you can only have, I think it's 150 characters in the description, which to me sounds, after being on Instagram, seems really strange. I also think I have no understanding. I think it's pronounced memes, memes, memes. But I have no understanding of what those are, you know. And so I think TikTok's very full of those aspects, really full of that. And I can't get my head around TikTok at all. I really cannot. I've tried, but I just got it. And you notice on Instagram that a lot of people make a TikTok and then export it to Instagram, and it keeps the watermark on it. So you can share from TikTok onto Instagram, but there isn't a button to share from Instagram to TikTok. So I think it's one way only, I think. And so a lot of influencers would say, create your content on TikTok and then repurpose it onto Instagram. But I'm afraid I'm an Instagram fanboy. That's where I am at the moment. I used to be Twitter. I don't know if you know this, but as well as tweets, Twitter did have something called fleets. That used to be short videos, but that I don't think that took off at all, and it's never been comparable to Instagram. But now, of course, Elon Musk has taken over Twitter. Be interesting what happens to it and how it actually changes. You know, how it actually progresses from there. So yeah, so I have to say at this point, this has probably been a really weird live stream because it's literally been about nothing. It's just been about me talking while eating my toast and drinking my pop. Just so you know, this is caffeine free and sugar free. But it does come back to the idea is that I really would love to go into live streaming. I do live streaming on Twitch, which I love. I would love to be able to do it on YouTube and Instagram as well, and not to do it, but to have a purpose behind it. So I'm constantly thinking, okay, then this idea is for YouTube live, or this idea is for YouTube video, or this idea is for the blog post, and this idea is for that. And that's where I am at the moment, trying to think. I use a lot of videos, and that's why I was talking about my role playing. You know, the majority of my role playing games content for that is on YouTube. So it's almost like suggests that is where there should be some more things about YouTube. Now, some people, I think I use OBS. I just use OBS. But I think Streamlabs OBS allowed you at one point, or still does, to stream directly to Twitch and Facebook live at the same time. And I think that's against terms and conditions. I really do. Because I'm sure in the policy, Twitch says that they own your content for 24 hours and you can't repurpose it during that time. And so, for example, I will use my Twitch for my live stream of Mithras or M Space, but then what I'll do is export it and put it up a week later. Do you know, little things like being a small content creator and a small streamer, there's certain things that you should avoid doing, I think. So one of the things that I think is really important, and small content creators should avoid it at all costs, I think, is to put up like a tweet or a video or something and say, do you have any questions for me? Because that, to me, is disastrous. You know, because you say, oh, I'm going to do a question video. You see all these big streamers and big influencers doing it. But for us smaller streamers or smaller content creators, it's not a good policy, I don't think, because all that happens is that you think, oh, I'm going to do a question and answer video, but you won't get any because our reach is not that big. We have a dedicated community, which is absolutely fantastic, but they're not to that stage. They're probably watching us because they like watching us rather than necessarily the games that we're playing or wanting more information. And so it's really I did one this morning. I put some questions and answers on Instagram stories, and I just know that there'll be none. And I'm not saying that to say, oh, go and think. What I'm saying is that as a small content creator or a small streamer, there's certain things that is not good to do. So when I'm planning for a stream, I have a topic on my planning sheet that I said, right, I'm going to talk about these topics today. But at the same point, I start off with a question. And then what you might notice is that as soon as I've posed the question, I then start talking about it. And even if I say, oh, who would like me to do this? I try to avoid things like that because you don't, there's only certain kind of streamers that can actually do that. And small content creators, we don't have that luxury. I think we can answer questions, but it might be more of these were the 5 questions that I constantly ask myself before making a video. Or these are the 5, if I was starting off with 0, these are the 5 questions I would ask myself, or something like that. I don't think we have the kudos or the reach or the a range of people watching us to actually do real life question and answer sessions. I don't think it's viable. And I think if a small streamer or small content creator goes that way, I think it only leads to disappointment because you sort of like set it all up there and then you get to do the video and you think, oh, me mum's asked me a question when you're coming down for coffee or something like that. And I really do think there's a huge difference between being a large streamer, a small streamer, or a large content creator and a small content creator, and the difference between a small content creator and somebody who wants to grow. For example, if I want to grow, the worst role-playing game I could possibly play would be Mithras, because it has such a small group of people following it. It would be much better to hit one of the bigger ones and attract people to my channel via things, rather than picking something small. And I know there's a huge debate all the time, is that should you stream a big game or a small game? And to me, you stream what you enjoy, and okay, then I'm lucky that I enjoy playing Elder Scrolls Online, which is quite a big game, but I'm still a small streamer within that. I haven't started to play ESO and suddenly got thousands of people. And I was thinking to myself, it's that idea that you must play something that you enjoy and move with it. And that's the important thing. And then hopefully people enjoy watching you rather than necessarily watching the game. There is a difference there as well. So anyway, I've just sat here and waffled for nearly an hour. It's coming up to 15 minutes. So I think I'm going to get back and get some work done. If you're a supporter on me on either Ko-fi or Patreon, I'm going to start writing a little blog post every week to share with you directly every week. And if you are a subscriber on Twitch, then via my Discord, you will have the link to all of them put together in one post. Okay, so it's all together in one post. So you'll see those at the end of the week and end of the month. And I am really trying to sort of like add value to content. I really want to say to people, you know, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subbing, for subbing on YouTube, etc., etc. I'm going to give you something back, as well as my wonderful personality, of course. You know, do you know? Isn't it funny that sat here talking to you people? I think it's so interesting that I think this comes back to my job as an educator, as I can talk for as long, I can just talk and talk and talk, you know, and I hopefully I don't come across nervous or worried about anything. My job gives me this ability to just communicate and share information and maintain hopefully that engagement as well. So yeah, so I'm going to go head back to work in my other room, and I've written a new blog post this morning on 4th for June, and I just think apart from Mithras Matters, which is my podcast for Mithras, that still has to be created, but I'm going to write the script this afternoon and then hopefully start recording it, and then that'll be it. June's content is finished. So just before I go, let me just run through that. So I stream 3 times on a Saturday and twice on a Sunday, and then one evening during the week I stream 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock for 2 hours or 3 hours, depending what time I get in. So Saturday I actually stream for 9 hours. So that's my streaming, and then on Instagram I post something every single day. Monday I share a whole load of selfies. So this month's been my favorite t-shirts. Next month is all going to be about running. The month after that is going to be old photographs of myself, you know, when I was younger, etc. That's going to be July's content. I do quotes on Wednesdays, influential quotes, and I've got a 1 month worth of small content graphics, infographics created, ready to go up. Tuesday and Thursday, it's some kind of reel or shorts video. Friday is normal content, so like my podcast or my blog posts. And then Saturday and Sunday, I try to have a rest and not post anything, and then start afresh on Monday. And then, of course, every day I also record stories throughout the day, so it's there. I try to do at least, there's 2 podcasts coming out. The inwils interval, I think, might be either changing or stopping, but I've got on the 10th of June, next month's inwils interval comes out, and I've talked about it in there, whether or not it'll continue or not. And then the Mithras podcast that comes out on the 1st. And I was going to say, oh yes, and then YouTube videos. I'm trying to produce 2 to 3 YouTube videos a month. Okay, so those are proper YouTube videos that I've created, you know, I've edited. So they tend to be either one about role-playing games, personal blogging, or it might be something about productivity, organization, coping with mental health, etc., etc. So there's loads of content coming out, so you really get your buck's worth following me. So yeah, it's been lovely talking to you all. I have no idea how I need to end this, but I can see a cross button there. So I'm going to nip back to work next door. This is my room next door. But thank you for spending your lunchtime with me. And yeah, I hope it hasn't been too boring for you. and I'll see you all again real soon. And remember, if you've got any ideas that you think I could do YouTube live, then pop them down in the comments below, and I'm really going to give it a good thought. Okay, thank you everybody. It's been lovely to see you. It's been lovely to chat with you, and I hope to see you all again real soon. Okay, if you are interested in following me anywhere else, then the links are down in my in the comments all the time. But search for inwils or inwils 1159, you will find me. Okay, that's the end of this lunchtime live show. 55 minutes done. It's been brilliant sharing it with you. So yeah, thank you, and have a fantastic afternoon. See you all later. Bye bye. Oh no, can I get? Oh, leg gone to cramp.